far as fixing, I ain't too good at fixing things, but I'm really good at breaking things.
Uh,
I've become very good with that over the years. You hot over there? The temperature?
you know what? Today and yesterday have been absolutely perfect out. That one day we were talking with Mr. G, it was getting pretty hot that day. That's why my phone just couldn't take it.
We have a 97 degree day over here, but we went from almost one extreme to the next over here. Uh,
Yes,
I wasn't quite prepared for it.
it's been bipolar for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. But we went from 30 degrees in the morning about a week ago to 97 degrees during the day. So it's a big jump over here. At my age, it takes a little while for the body to get used to those kind of things. I can't handle it like I used to. All right, I'm gonna get this thing rolling. Hello there, it's Michael Diamond once again with Chris Miller. If you're watching this on Muscle Central, it's Muscle Talk. Make sure you go over to Chris Miller's channel, Buffy the Iron Slayer. If you're watching it over there, it's Iron Talk. And make sure you come over to my channel and watch my stuff over here. And don't forget to subscribe to both of them. How's it going, Chris?
Oh man, it's going great. How about
We had a
you?
good we had a good time with George the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, man, it was so awesome to meet him, via Skype and get to talk to him like one on one and hear like his life story for the the party he told us, and just a really cool guy, great energy. I wish nothing but the best for someone like that.
He's a genuinely nice guy. He
Yeah.
has a very, very good heart, and it was fun. Uh, you had brought up to me that about comparing the 212 and the Open. How what was it? You say they had better position. How did you word it?
Oh, I think I was. It was like more interesting to watch, really, because it seems like pretty much everyone you see in the 212 or a higher percentage are really peeled and peaked properly. And I feel like the guys in the bigger class, they come in holding a little water, typically. Uh, so I think it's a little rare to see a guy who's on point in the heavy division.
Well, the problem basically comes down to is the weight restriction. They have to make the weight, but in the open, not even concerned about the finer details. They just
Yeah,
look at size, and they're sacrificing the conditioning. I
right.
think
And
basically that's what it's come down to.
I could easily see the mindset too. Like, when you have a goal to meet and like a certain weight that you can't be over, that I think more times than not, that might be a better situation for somebody versus being more loose about it and be like, well, I'm in the weight class, I can be whatever I want to be. But like people get too caught up in being big, so then they don't come in on point like they should.
Yeah, it's uh, what the problem is. The judges, you got to start with the judges because as long as they're coming in the way they're coming in and they're placing the way they're placing, they're going to keep on coming in the way they're coming in.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the heavyweight it'll continue to be what it's going to be pretty much. So that to me, 212 and classic physique division are the most exciting. And I grew up being a heavyweight open guy fan the whole time. But back in the 90s, when I was getting into it and watching as a kid, back when you'd see it on ESPN, it was like all the guys on top in the open, they were all on point, really. So
Yeah,
it's
well, they wanted to be big, and they tried to get as big as they can get, but they don't. They weren't willing to sacrifice conditioning. That's what
yeah.
it came down to.
And when people come in on point, the physiques become spectacular. And at that point, you can see everything and what it really has to offer. And that, I think that's why the Open's quite not, it's not as like wow, to me.
Well, I was just listening. I was watching a recent Dorian talking about it, that saying that I could have come in bigger and still be in really good condition, but I wanted to. I I know I sacrificed muscle because I wanted to come in not just really good condition. I wanted to be the best possible condition. I'm trying to remember his exact words, but that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
Uh,
I,
so, and he wanted to be as big and freaky as he could, but he just wasn't willing to sacrifice any of the conditioning.
yeah, and
And we
he
saw, yeah, we
I
saw
heard
it in 93.
I heard that he was so lean and low on body fat that it hurt his feet to walk around backstage on the hardwood.
Yeah, yeah. I remember he was talking about it, saying, they're like, Dorian, are you okay? Like, what, are you dehydrated? You cramping? He goes, no, my fucking feet. I can't walk. Like, my fucking feet hurt. And then he said he realized afterwards when he was looking at an anatomy chart that his body fat levels were so low, the the natural padding you have on the bottom of your feet, which is fat, that was gone.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, but you know what? You mentioned about the classic physique, but if you go back a number of years, they've gotten a bit bigger also. I think they made three. I'm sure there was two weight jumps uh, increases for the height. It might have been three.
Yeah.
So they're slowly getting bigger and bigger also.
Well, I could see why, because I'm 5'7" and I've got to make 185 if I want to compete. To me, 185 is going to be like it's going to be hard to get. Yeah.
But you plan on doing classic physique division?
I would like
That's the,
to.
and that's the height to weight. Uh, okay.
As a novice, they only allow you to be 185, and if you're a pro, you can be 190. So I haven't competed in the NPC before, so I got to start over, kind of thing.
Well, I was going to ask you, are you going to try the NPC?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's you're probably your best bet. I tell you, I told you I wanted to compete in the natural organization, but there was so many restrictions. They tied your hands behind your back and so many things. I said, "Fuck it, let me just go compete with the NPC and
Yeah,
see how I do."
yeah, and I like their the way they do the categories. It's a little different than natural. They actually have like weight classes and to your
Who
height and
do you know who runs the shows out there by you?
for the NPC.
Yeah. Well, like on the East Coast, a lot of the shows are Steve Weinberger overseas. He personally runs a few. The New York Pro is this show. The Eastern USA, the Atlantic States. Those are the two that I was competing in, and the New York Pro is his show.
Yeah, I know. I don't because I'm just getting into the NPC, like competing with them. I don't keep track of who does what really, but I do know here in Reno, Nevada, there's a lot of bodybuilding shows. Like there's the Tahoe. There's this one here coming up that I want to do is the Legion, which is a huge convention thing.
Find a lot of them very well. Steve Weinberger was very accommodating. I remember one show. I don't remember which year it was. He got a call from one of there was a group of competitors coming over from I don't know what state that they were on the highway. they're competing in I think the middleweight division. I don't remember for sure. They got a flat tire. So what they did was they actually changed the order of when the competitors were going to go out to be compared to give
Wow,
them to get there.
that's incredible.
Look, have it. They got a second flat tire, and they made another change. Needless to say, they actually got there. They got
Wow,
there in time, and they were able to. The competitors were able to get their opportunity to go on stage and compete. But that's I don't know how many promoters would do that, but
that's
that
that's
was.
that's
Oh,
incredible.
Steve Weinberger. I remember my first show. Kind of nervous. I'm in the men's room, do my thing. Guy comes in, big guy, bald head, comes in, doing his thing, and afterwards we're washing our hands. I go, "Excuse me, you look like you know what's going on around here." And he goes, can I ask you a question?" "No, sure, go ahead." So I asked him a couple of questions about the show. A little while later, I realized the guy who said, "You look like you know what's going on around here," was actually Steve Weinberger, the promoter.
Oh wow, that's funny.
But he's a really nice guy. They run a good show. Uh, Good luck in that. So get back to the 212 in the open. Are we gonna be able to fix the problem with these guys? How do we get the judges to change the criteria and if stop awarding these guys that are just big and push them to come in condition?
Yeah, I just don't see any hope for that changing really. It's only going to have to be like on the competitor themselves, to want to bring a package that of what we're talking about. I think it's known in the open these days that people come in holding water and they're not as dry and as conditioned as they used to be. Like people know about that. So I feel like if you're in a bodybuilder who's got their finger on the pulse and you're competing, you should know that coming in as a heavyweight and try to bring that granite look that everyone always talks about that was in the 90s that Dorian Yates brought.
You know, the kicker is you, bodybuilding. A lot of it, bodybuilding is an illusion.
Of
You
course.
come in and you got that conditioning and detail. You are gonna look bigger than what you are, and that's a fact.
You know what's funny? The other day at the gym, I go to a really cool gym. It's my buddy's gym, and we work out without shirts or we're posing in the mirrors. We got pose rooms, pose lights, and I was just working out without my shirt doing back day, and this one dude said, he said I looked like I weighed 220 to 230. And I laughed. I was like, dude, I'm 199 right now, 200. And he
The
swore, he's
better,
like,
the better
go,
conditioned, the better
yeah,
conditioned, the bigger you look. I've people always thought when I was big, I go, "Oh, I'm not as big as you think." I'm a condition. When
yeah.
it's a total illusion, and I don't know why they can. It's a simple concept, and I don't know why they can't seem to grasp it. But the judges need to be uh, changing the way they score. But you know what?
Right.
There's no other problem. Also, we're talking about the judges pushing for better, more conditioning. But we had a few bodybuilders that passed. We know I have a feeling that's for something totally different. But there have been a couple of cases where we know diuretics were involved and stupid protocols
Yeah.
recently. And a little while ago, not too long ago, there was talk about uh, getting the judges not to emphasize conditioning as much as which was kind of funny, as
Mm,
much as they're emphasizing it. to help save these bodybuilders from doing these crazy, stupid things. But the truth is, they weren't really awarding those anyway. But I don't know. I don't know how exactly how to fix it, but I wish we started seeing better condition or uh, big guys on the stage. And there's no reason why they can't.
Yeah, that's another one of the reasons Hadi Chupin was. I liked him more than the other guys because I thought his detail was and separations and muscle maturity and all that was better. So I have faith he'll come in looking really good. I bet Derek Lunsford he might come in looking pretty sharp. Who knows? He's gotten a lot bigger, so I could see that being hard for him to
What do you
dial in.
think? What do you think is going to happen? You mentioned Derek Lunsford. We're talking about 212 and open.
Yeah,
We've seen him in the past off season where he's always been big,
yeah,
but this off season, this guest post we saw him in Pittsburgh, that's another level.
yeah.
And he had to suck down then to make the 212. And I think he did look a little, even though his winning physique was his best to date, I still think he looked a little flat. He had to suck down. Is he going to be able to get down to that weight without fucking his physique up? I know he has Hanny Rombard, smart guy, knows what he's doing, but it's not the same Derek from a year ago.
Well, so wait a minute. Is he competing in the 212? I thought he was going to the Open.
No, well, if you listen to them a couple of months ago, there was all intention of competing in 212 at least one more time to retain two, the title to win it two in a row.
I see.
But I think he just very recently he still said the same. But I'm looking, like I said, if you look at him last year, this this far away from the Olympia, and then you look at him this year, this far away from the Olympia. It's two different Dereks. He has a lot more size, and he has this conditioning. He wasn't out of shape at all, by any means. And the other Derek Lunsford had to suck down, and I think he looked a little flat. This one is a lot bigger. I don't think he can make it and be able to look the way he needs to look.
No, probably not. I thought he was so much bigger than last year that I thought he already moved up to heavyweight. That's
Well,
what I thought when I saw him. I was like, okay.
In an open show and get a qualification. I didn't hear anything, and he doesn't deserve a special invite anyway. He would have to qualify. He'd have to jump into it, which I think he probably should, even if he still plans in a 212. Just test the waters and jump into an open leading up to the Olympia as a warm up.
Sure.
I'm not so sure he can even make the weight.
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting to see for sure. So, who do we got to look forward to in the Open this year? Like, really? So let's just say Big Ramy's out. Let's just pretend.
You know what? Even if Big Ramy is in, this Nick Walker, I don't know. I mean, it's only second year pro, second Olympia. He is fucking dangerous. He he's growing at a rate that's pretty amazing. I don't care what anybody says. It's not just drugs. Because you can do the same drugs he's doing, do the exact same thing he's doing, and you're not going to look like him. That's his genetics, along with whatever he's doing.
Mhm.
But he's keeping a tight fucking waist. his structure is not the best, but the way his muscles distributed, kind of like Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler's structure wasn't the best, but the way he was put together with his muscle, those huge shoulders, uh, those wide sweeping quads, that took away from his blockiness. He didn't look blocky. And Nick's the same way, short, a little shorter, and he comes in condition. I think he just might be the most dangerous person on that stage. I don't care if Rami's there or not.
Yeah, he probably will be a top 5, top 3 guy. Who else do we got to look forward to? I guess Brendan Curry will probably be there. We know what he'll bring for the most part.
You know what? Maybe he slipped. Some people say he wasn't quite the same Brandon in the Arnold, but you know what? He's always brought Olympia after Olympia since he did that foray out to whatchamacallit, Kuwait. Consistently, year after year with Olympia, you always saw a better Brandon. There was always something that needed to be worked on, was always improved. And I think we're going to see. He actually brought him his big knock is his legs, right?
Not huge, but
He brought up his legs. Definitely brought up his legs for the past Olympia, and I think he's going to bring him up a little bit more. I think he still has it in him to where I don't think he's too old to the point where they say after a certain age you can't put on build legs. I don't think he's to that point yet. Everybody's a little different, and I think he still has a little room, and I think we're going to see that.
And even if he doesn't add any actual girth or size to his legs, because it is the shape that they are that really that sets him back. But I think if he were to get more muscle maturity, more separation and shape via the way he trains, that would make his legs be more of a wow factor.
Well, I think we're going to see an improved Brandon one way or another.
Yeah.
Where what exactly we're going to see, I don't know, but I think we're going to see an improved Brandon, and I think I personally had him and Heidi. I had Rami third place in the last. I don't care what anybody says, and I have Lee Priest said the exact same thing. So,
oh yeah, he did.
Lee Priest agrees with me, okay? So cool. I can't be that crazy. Lee Priest agrees with me. He had, I forget who he had first, Brandon or Hardy, but he had what, either one, and then he had Rami third.
So who did he have for first place pick? The Hardy?
I'm not sure whether he had Brandon or Hardy first. I can't remember. But what stood out, he had the top 3 the same that I had, and he also had Rami third. So I think Brandon already has what it takes to beat him. He's beat him before. He lost him. He lost the title, and I still think and I think he beat him last year. And I still think he has what it takes to beat him. If Rami, and like I said, like you said, if Rami even shows up.
Yeah. So you got those guys, and I mean, Kai Green, whatever, man. Make up your mind. Say something. If not, stop flashing the tuna in front of everybody.
Now, I agree with you with Hardy, but you know what's? I was watching a video. There's an issue with his delts. I don't think he's putting oil in his not synthol. I think, and other people have said the same thing. I've had the problem. Also, he's hitting the same spot over and over again with his needles instead of moving them around. And what's happening is it's like coming to the medial delt has come to a little bit of a peak. And in transitions, you can see it. Excuse me.
I remember that.
as
Got you.
opposed to see it. And I've seen very, very recent footage of him. I know because it's recent because it's a much bigger hottie than we've seen off season, and he still had good conditioning, but not the same conditioning we would normally see from hottie on off season. So I know there are recent pictures, and he still has the same issue. Uh, I mean that could be addressed and taken care of. It's uh, it can be worked on, and you could alleviate or just stop fucking hitting the same spot over and over.
It makes me wonder, like, how much those guys got to do, how often. I would have no idea how often they'd got to stick themselves. Maybe he sticks himself everywhere and
That might
already.
that might that might hurt him now. Uh, I mean, physique wise, he
Yeah.
has everything it takes to be a Mr. Olympia. There's a few guys that are on any given day can be Mr. Olympia, but judges have did state that that was an issue last year. So if it could becomes, if they say it's an issue, and he comes in without fixing it, maybe they'll penalize him a little bit more. Physique wise, he has it, but they don't like what they see with the shoulders. He didn't correct it. He didn't get the hint the first time. Maybe we'll slip him a little bit more. That's what I'm worried about with Hardy.
Right.
I don't know why he didn't take the time to correct it and take steps so he doesn't have that problem.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens when he's up on stage. That makes me also wonder about Phil Heath now. Do you think Phil Heath is going to come back and bring it? No.
No, if I don't think he really has any intention of coming back, and even if he did, I don't think that he could be the same boss that he once was. When was his? Oh, he did compete in 20. It would be 2 years, but still, I don't think has any intention. I think he has things he's working on. He might be keeping his physique for other endeavors, but I don't think he's going to be competing again. So I think that's out. Do you agree with me how dangerous Nick Walker is?
I agree. He is dangerous. I like a lot of parts of his physique. When he's standing by himself, he looks absolutely amazing. When I get to see him next to people, the part that I don't really like as much it would be his midsection. Uh, it's just it's just the shape.
Oh, the shape of the muscle.
It's just what he was born with. It's nothing he can do really.
Well,
Uh,
Rudy Winkler, even when he was like really conditioned, when he got his waist in shape, I did not the way his abs were shaped. They were
I
like blocks. I just
I
didn't. Yeah, I never liked it.
so with that in mind, again being a bodybuilder, being aware of yourself, I think if I was Nick Walker, I would focus on my vacuum pose with the front double bicep and the front lat spread. Instead of flexing it like he does, he puts his arms up and he flexes the abs, relax them, and suck in, and then flare out your wings, and stick up the elbows.
Are you
I,
becoming a Nick Miller, Nick Strength and Power? He's like crazy about the vacuum pose.
well, some people they should do it more than the pose where you flex your abs. And so what I like to do is when I set up for a front double, I'll flex and then I suck in after that and stand up a little more and flare out. So I'll give people the flex version and then the vacuum version. I transition into it.
Some people, no matter what, no matter how great condition they are, the vacuum pose just does not work. Doesn't have the look that you want for it. It just doesn't work. Some people they can make the crunch down and the vacuum work, but I think that's all depends on the person and their physique.
I
I
just think I
personally,
think he should try it though, because when he flexes his abs, they're just so blocky. It looks like a turtle shell. Like if he tried it, maybe I don't know what it would look like, but maybe there's potential it would look better for him.
I I've seen shots with him. At least I've seen off season shots where we've held somewhat of a vacuum.
Hmm.
But I think personally, I think it looks better crunched down. Uh,
Yeah.
but I definitely think you need to have nice wide lats, upper lats, to make the vacuum work. If you don't, it doesn't work that well.
Sure. Yeah.
It really doesn't work that well.
Oh man, lats and back. That's what wins shows, right? Back and
Yeah,
legs.
yeah,
You gotta have both before anything
yeah.
else.
So we're going to be able to get these guys. But you know what? We talked about the conditioning with the open guys. At least we got some guys that do bring conditioning.
Hmm.
Maybe if you have somebody like Nick Walker, with not only the size is bringing the conditioning, it's push people to bring more conditioning. If you have people like Nick Walker and Hardy and the Nick Walkers and the Hardys who so far have been bringing the conditioning, if you have them at the top, that's gonna that would probably force people to start bringing in conditioning because they're gonna see that's at the top and they're gonna be chasing what's getting rewarded.
Let's hope so. I hope it goes that way.
Uh, like I said, 212. The only reason why they're bringing in the kind of conditioning better physiques on the whole is simply the weight class. But if you have someone like Sean Clarita,
Oh,
five two, he's up on stage at 180. He's not going to be at the top of the weight class. If he tries to get to the top of the weight class, he's going to blow. It's impossible. He's going to blow his physique out completely. Maybe he can put on 5, 7, maybe 8 pounds more, and then after that, I don't. He's probably be sacrificing it. So it's because they're at a certain. I don't think you're going to find 212 over 5'7".
no,
So
and I,
they can't pack on that much size, and it's gonna if they're up towards the top of the weight class, and the average height is between 5'5" and 5'7", they're not gonna be sacrificing conditioning at that height.
right. I applaud Sean Clarita because he's actually so much smaller in that division, and he brings as much size as possible, but he doesn't sacrifice his conditioning. And it's like the size game doesn't phase him. He knows how to come in on point. Like
He looks he looks freaky. He's
if he
totally freaky.
if he was a bigger guy, like a bigger frame, and he was in that, he would make a great heavyweight because he would be gigantic and it would still bring it.
Yeah, he's you know what? Like I said, he's 5'2", inch for inch. I don't think there's anybody out there that's carrying more muscle than him, inch
And
for inch.
and his shape is really
Yeah,
nice.
it's almost like the Ronnie Coleman 2003 mini me.
Right.
Right? It's like, uh, do you think he's gonna? Do you think that? Do you think Derek is gonna make the 212, or is he gonna try to jump into another show and an open show and qualify and possibly compete at the open?
Up until we spoke about it just now, a few minutes ago, I was under the impression he was going to be in the heavyweights. Uh, I so at this point I don't know what he's going to do, but I'll tell you what, he like we said earlier, he looks too big to be 212 to make 212.
And even I saw a recent video with Hani. and they asked Hani about that, and just the way he responded, I don't know if they're playing around with us a little bit. I'm not too sure they're gonna. They might. He might try to jump in into an open show and then take it from there. If he wins and he qualifies, then he has an option. Do I suck down and make 212 to defend my title, or now I'm qualified? I got the size and I got conditioning. And I just got to bring more conditioning, and I can step on the Open Olympia. He has to get at that point. That's why I say he should jump into an open show as a warm up either way. This way, if he does win, he has an option on which direction to go. Judging by uh, if he does do a show when it is its proximity to the Olympia, they can judge at that point whether is it worth it to go down to 212 and defend, or would it be a better option to now go for the Open?
So imagine this now. Let's just say he's in the Open. I mean, that's pretty much the 212 would be Sean Clarita's. Like, who else is going to defeat him?
I'm not sure if he goes down to 212 that Sean wouldn't beat him. I would have had him. Sean Clarita. Derek looked great. I thought it was his best package. His winning performance at the Olympia, but I still think he looked a little flat or lean, however you want to word it. I think the only thing he really had over Sean was that he was bigger structure, taller and bigger structure. And that's not a knock on. I'm not knocking him by any means. I just thought if you use every bit of criteria you're supposed to use for judging a competition, I think Sean should have gotten it.
And thinking about that too, last year, I felt like Derek definitely could have been sharper, especially when you saw him next to Sean. So let's just say Derek last year probably could have lost a good 5 pounds of water, maybe, to look sharper, somewhere in that neighborhood. And
he probably struggled to look, the way he looked.
Yeah. So he's got to work on his conditioning first before, anything else really.
Do you think if he stays in the 212 to defend his title, do you think he's a lock-in? He's a shoe-in to win, to beat Sean Clarita? I know. You know what? I know a guy who personally knows Sean. I see this guy a few days a week. He's not a body. He competed in a show or two, but he just trains because he likes to train. But he knows he trains in the same gym as Sean, so he kind of gives me updates on him. And he says what he's looking at this year now is not what he was looking at last year.
In a good way, I'd assume.
Yeah, in a good way. In a good way. So this is somebody who's sees Sean on a regular, but he sees him a few days a week at the gym. So I'm always talking whenever he's in there. I'm not too busy. I try to talk a little bodybuilding, and I find out what's going on with Sean. And like I said, it's not the same Sean that he saw last year. I don't know if Derek is even a shoe-in to retain it if he stays in there.
Yeah, I think the only way Derek would stand a chance against Sean would be to come in tighter. And if he got bigger in this last offseason, which he looks like he has, maybe the amount of weight he needed to lose last year, he can make up for that and come in that much tighter while being bigger if he makes 212.
Yeah, I said I don't know what's going on in their minds. But like I said, what I think they should do is check out the shows that are coming to the schedule figure out an open show to do,
Mhm.
and to do it. If he wins and he qualifies, like I said, now he has two options: see where he is as far as his physique. If he wins the show and qualifies, see where he is as far as his physique. Then make a judgment call whether should we continue now and do the Open Olympia, which we're qualified, because it's going to be too much of a struggle for the 212, which will sacrifice too much, or do we go down? Like I said, he has a choice on which direction he can go.
Sure.
I think that would be probably the smartest option. I don't know why they're not going that course. I think if you have a choice, because he's really teetering on it on the edge with the 212 now with his size, so he should at least give himself an option.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that some bodybuilders should do, or not do, or be aware of that they don't do. And I mean, who knows what he's going to do at this point? I think it would be a good idea though to do a warm up show to feel it out and see where you are. But
I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions so we can start rounding this out. In the open division, uh, the Nick Walkers and Hadi Chubans, that people like that bring that type of conditioning, if they start getting rewarded, uh, if they're the ones that are top players that are getting rewarded, are we going to see a change in the open division?
if they do, yeah, it'd be the same way it changed for the worst recently. So I think if, like I said in the beginning, it's going to be on the bodybuilder themselves to want to bring that grainy package
Okay.
and to be big enough and win at the same time.
Now we touched on the classic physique before. I mentioned how they increased the weight for height balance or whatever you want to call it, ratio, at least twice, maybe three times since inception. So they are getting bigger. Are they going to keep on doing it?
Oh, who knows? I think it was a good idea. Being where it's at right now, I like to use myself as an example, but I'm not. I don't think of myself as gigantic by any means, but I'm pretty big. And for me to make 185 is going to be really hard. So I think,
You're holding good. I see some recent pics of you. You got some good conditioning right now. And your
yeah.
weight? What's your weight now?
I was 199 by the end of the week, and then I had sushi the other day, so I was 204 this morning. But
So you're talking about roughly 15 more pounds or so.
yeah, about 15 pounds. And I think at that, if I make that, which I will, I'm going to be razor sharp. And how big I am, I think currently, like, I resemble my heroes, which are all the guys from the 70s, and the 60s. That's the shape and proportions that I always admired.
Are you worried about flattening out, making the weight? Are you worried about flattening out a little bit?
Yeah, because obviously, when you don't have to worry about that as much, your carb intake leading into a show is.
You know what? Personally, I'd rather be a little flatter, which with sharp conditioning, than a little fuller with a little slip conditioning. If I'm taking a choice, I would go for a little flatter. You want to really flatten out, but a little flatter, but that much crisper conditioning. I would opt in that direction anyway.
I think I'm gonna have no choice because I'm imagining that if I lost somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 pounds of actual fat, And then leading into the show, say 3 days out, I'm low carb in it, pretty good. I might lose enough glycogen storage to make up for that other 3 pounds I'm looking for. And then what do? Do they weigh in the day before, or is it the morning of?
Uh, unless they changed anything, we wait in the morning of. We're over
Morning
there,
of.
waiting online, sign in, and they direct you right over to wherever the scale is. We always got to wait in. But you know what? The shows are a lot bigger. When I was competing, how many divisions do we have? All right, we had the typical women's bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding, the masters, the open division, the novice division. Uh, we had the fitness still. We had the fitness then, and I think the figure had just started. And then I think my last year competing is when the men's physique just started. But they have more divisions now, and there's so many more, so there's so many more competitors. I don't know. Maybe they'll weigh in early. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what to tell you. So my
I
question was: are the weight classes on the classic physique, are they going to still increase, or are they going to cap off? And are they going to turn into open bodybuilders?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to look at the. I'm sure if I go to the website, they might have the schedule on there for the Legion show. But I'm imagining whether or not they weigh in the day before or the morning of, I'm not going to have much time to carb up. And whatever I do carb up with, I got to make sure that it doesn't take up a lot of volume in my stomach.
You know what? Everything work. Different things work for different people. I carved because I tend to always, no matter how lean I was, I eat a little bit. I always start to feel a little bloated. I used to carve up. I used to eat a lot of cotton candy. I carve
Wow,
up a cotton candy,
wow, that's
and it
interesting.
should. I swear, and it should work. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody, but it should work. And I didn't have any issues with. I mean, I ate some. I ate a few things, but I didn't eat much. I relied a lot of my carving up on the cotton candy because I didn't get a bloated feeling, and it worked for me. So, but the trick is you got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
So my question is, classic physique, are they going to start it? Are they going to continue to increase the weight classes, and is it going to turn into the open division all over again, or are they going to cut it off and stop increasing the weight? What do you think?
I think if it does move up again, it's only going to be by another 5 pounds.
You
Uh,
don't see you don't see continual increase.
no, I don't think so, because I think right where it's at a pretty good spot. I think they bring quite a bit of muscle if they're on point at the height and weight restrictions they have. It's pretty close to the proportions that the guys had in the 70s, and that's what they want. So I think it's pretty close to where it needs to be.
So now the 212. Let's try to. I'm starting to get a little hungry, but I still got to do my cardio. The
And,
212.
and
Uh,
Michael, I'm sorry to interrupt you, bro. I gotta go to the bathroom. Do you mind if I go real quick?
I was going to wrap it up really quick.
Okay, all right.
I'm trying to wrap it up. My last question
Yeah.
before we say goodbye, and Chris doesn't explode over here.
Okay.
We don't want to see Chris explode on YouTube. Let me get asked.
Water.
212. What's happening? Is Derek Lunsford gonna try to make an open, or is he gonna go and defend his title? And what's going definitely his biggest threat is Sean Clarita. Can he beat Sean Clarita again? Then we'll wrap this up.
I think it'd be smart of Derek to stay in the 212 and to not play the size game, to work on his muscle maturity, to work on his stage presence, conditioning, his package. And maybe if he comes in on point, we'll see the shapes, cuts that we want to see for him to possibly beat Sean Clarita, who's put together a little better than him. Derek's strong point is his lats, his lat sweep for sure, and his legs look pretty nice in the silhouette. But it's the separations, the graininess, conditioning that he needs to bring to beat Sean if he stays in the 212, which I think would be the smartest move.
All right. That I think, I was just thinking, if you explode on YouTube, the video might go viral and both our channels might take off.
Now I'll just pee my pants and not say anything.
All right, okay. We don't want Chris to have an accident over here. We're gonna try to round this up. I think we probably went a little longer than we expected. Okay, to conclude this, once again, if you're watching this on Muscle Central, it's Muscle Talk. Make sure you go over to Chris's channel, Buffy the IronSlayer, and check out all his content. If you're watching it on Buffy the IronSlayer, it is Iron Talk, right?
Yeah, Iron Talk.
If you're watching it there, it's Iron Talk. And make sure you come over to my channel and check out my content. Either way, make sure you subscribe to both our channels. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And I'll be speaking to you soon, Chris, okay?
Sounds good, Michael. Thank you.
You want to say goodbye to everybody? Bye-bye.
Take care. Be well.
Do what you got to do. Take care.
All right, man. Later.